Hello, this is Vicky from vickycharles.com and you're listening to my podcast. Thank you for listening. The show notes for this and previous podcasts can be found at vickycharles.com/podcast. And this episode, number 37, is about how to get more Instagram followers if you don't want to be a professional Instagrammer. Let's get on with it. So the title of this podcast, number 37, is how to get more Instagram followers if you don't want to be a professional Instagrammer. The reason I say it like that is I've had a lot of chats recently with bloggers who are kind of, whenever you go to an event and you have a talk about Instagram, it tends to be like, make your pictures look really professional. And I mean, people are posting absolutely gorgeous, beautiful pictures. But a lot of bloggers are saying, I just want to take pictures of my kid in the mud, and I just want to take, nice pictures of this, and I don't want to have like a really stylized feed and things like that. And that's, all well and good. There are still things you can do to grow your Instagram followers without kind of feeling like you're compromising yourself to change your Instagram feed. I mean, if you want to change your Instagram feed and make it into kind of a professional looking thing, that's a brilliant way to go, and that's a surefire way to get lots more Instagram followers. But these are tips for people who don't want to change what they're posting. That said, I will just mention a few things. Instagram have just released Boomerang, which is a fantastic app. I'm so annoyed. My phone is too full up and I cannot get it because I can't download it. It's too big. That's not because it's a big app. It's because my phone is rubbish. Boomerang is an app which allows you to make, basically, you take like a series of pictures and turn them into a GIF, and you can play them forwards or backwards, and they're brilliant. So they've also got Hyperlapse and Layout, which are also fantastic apps that they've brought out to go alongside Instagram, and they're fantastic, and I love them. That's by the by. Here are your 9 tips to get yourself more Instagram followers. So the first tip, really simple, tell your followers that you've got it. If you're on Facebook, mention your Instagram. I'm on Instagram. You might not know I'm on Instagram. Come and find me on Instagram. On Twitter, have you followed me on Instagram yet? You probably should. I'm fantastic. Just let people know that you're there, because a lot of the time, I might follow people on Facebook and blah, blah, blah. And then months later, they mention Instagram and I just think, oh my gosh, I'm not following you on Instagram. We've been like best buds on Facebook for ages. So just mention it. Make sure don't mention it every day. Just every now and then, oh, you follow me on Instagram. Come and have a look. Things like that, just to remind people that you're there. The second tip is in a similar vein. Link to it. Anytime you mention Instagram on your blog, use a link it to your Instagram profile. Anytime you use a photo that you've previously posted in Instagram, or you've posted, say if you've posted a photo and the outtake of that photo, or something like, if you've posted a fantastic photo of a lovely flower display or something, and on Instagram you post a picture of the flower display after your child's just knocked it over while they were going past on their trike, then link those two and say like, oh, and here's what happened afterwards, come and look on Instagram. So you're pulling people over there. Again, making people aware that you've got an Instagram, inviting them to have a look at your feed, and giving them the option to come and follow you on there. It's a lot of the time, like I said, people don't think of it. They just kind of will follow your blog happily, or follow you on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, and they won't necessarily go and like internet stalk you to go and find your other platforms. You kind of have to put it under their nose a little bit. The third tip is about liking and commenting, which is again about putting yourself under somebody's nose. If there's somebody that you would really like to follow you, that Shalene Johnson, who I'm a massive fan of, advocates a technique that she calls 5-3-1. Now, this is, it's kind of it's not really time consuming because it's only Instagram, it's not going to take very long, but it's for if there's somebody that you specifically targeted because they're your ideal customer, your ideal reader. You just think they're really cool, you really like them. Either way, it's somebody that you've targeted, that you've said, I want this person to come and follow me on Instagram. So you go to their Instagram account and you like their last 5 photos. And then you comment on the last 3 photos, and you don't just leave a comment going, oh, wow, or yeah, cool. Like, leave a comment that shows that you've paid attention, you've read their caption, you've looked at the picture, you've appreciated it. That's really interesting. I like what you've done with that. What colour is this? Where did you buy this? I like that. Something like that, to show that you're paying attention. It shows that you're following them, you're paying attention, you're interested in them, and you're not just trying to get them to follow you, which you really are, but, you're paying attention, you're being nice about it. Don't really comment on past the last 3 or 4. Don't comment, because people who've got a lot of followers will tend to get a lot of comments, and I don't really go through my notifications very well on Instagram anymore, because if I've left it more than a few hours, quite often I've got kind of it doesn't split it out very well. So when you first go in, it says the little comment icon comes up, but then it disappears, and you've got a massive likes and new followers to go through to find that comment. So what I tend to do is go, I'll just have a look at the last few photos and see if I can see the comment. And a lot of people, if they've got a lot of followers, I mean, I don't have a huge amount, but a lot of people who have, thousands more than I do, they don't have the time to go through this massive list of notifications of all these likes and new follows to find that one comment. So if you only comment on the last 3 or 4 pictures, then they're going to see those, quite clearly they're going to see those. And that's a really good way to kind of just, basically wave and go, hi, I'm here, I'm paying attention, I'm your fan kind of thing, and then hopefully they'll follow you back. My 4th tip is try to be consistent, and I don't mean kind of consistent post at 7:15 every day, but do try and post regularly. Don't post too much. They recommend 3 to 5 a day, which anyone who follows me will know that's laughable that I would suggest such a thing. I've been known to post 15 or 16 times a day before now, which is terrible, but it's worked for me, and I tend to be firmly in the camp of I use my Instagram to post nice pictures of my kid, and that's what I'm doing, and if you don't like it, don't follow me. So yeah, I'm not trying to get new fans. If you're trying to get new fans, aim for no more than about 5 a day, because otherwise some people don't follow very many people and it does kind of span their feed. Also, look at other popular accounts in your niche. If you're posting pictures of flowers, I always use flowers as an example. If you're posting pictures of, if you're posting something like parenting stuff, look at other parenting posters, and not just UK ones but American ones as well, and see how many times a day they post. Find people that you not aspire to be like, but if you look at someone and think you've got a great Instagram account and you've got so many followers and you get so many comments, see what they're doing. So look at them and see how often they post and kind of emulate that. So don't copy them kind of word for word. Oh, she's posted flowers at 8 o'clock, I'll post flowers at 8 o'clock. Oh, she's posted her kid at 7 o'clock, I'll do that. But just look at how often they're posting and kind of go with that, and set yourself a sort of not a target, but kind of a thing to say, okay, well, every day I'll post 3 photos, 4 photos, whatever, and try and just keep it up daily, or at least weekly, that you're posting regularly, so that when people come along and see your feed, they can see that you're posting regularly, and that your last post wasn't 6 months ago, and maybe it's a dead account, if you see what I mean. Tip number 5 is to put your hashtags in your comments. This is purely because your caption will always stay underneath your picture, and a lot of people just don't like to see loads of hashtags, and it looks a bit, if you're using like 500 hashtags, it looks a bit like you're desperate to have somebody like your picture as well. But if you put your hashtags in your comment, in the first comment space underneath your picture, then as new people comment, which you're hoping they're going to, your comment with the hashtags will just be kind of scrolled up and people won't be able to see it. Which is always handy, but also then it gives you the option to edit or replace your hashtags if you want to. 91% of posts on Instagram use between 1 and 7 hashtags. Some people say you should use 11, some people say you should only use 5. I tend to just try and kind of pick a handful that suit the picture I'm posting. I don't think you really need to have any hard and fast rules about that, but if you're posting good content and you're not including hashtags, you're really missing out. But just bear in mind that, they're going to work better for you in a comment, I think, and it's worth giving it a go. Tip number 6 is to bear in mind that it's a visual medium. So it sounds really silly, post nice pictures, edit them well, crop them. Consider cropping and going in a little closer to the subject than you normally would. That tends to work quite well quite often than to have kind of a wide shot. If you think of the size of it when it appears on somebody's phone, and if you think some people might have a smaller phone screen than you as well, depending on what phone you've got or they've got, just try and make it so that it's really obvious what it is and really clear. So don't have kind of a really kind of zoomed out picture with where your subject is in the middle and you can see it perfectly on your laptop screen, but or your tablet where you're posting, but somebody with a smaller screen might not be able to see it. If you're consistently posting things where people can't tell what the picture's of, or it's really fuzzy, or it's really dark, or it was just really badly lit, people are just going to unfollow that, because there are so many beautiful pictures on Instagram. And although I'm not suggesting you should change your feed, we've already discussed that these are tips for people who don't want to change their feed. Just bear in mind that it is visual and your picture does need to be well edited. I'm not saying change what you post, I'm saying change how you post it and kind of where your line is perhaps for what you're going to post. Also, with it being a visual medium, I don't know about you, when I look through my Instagram feed, scroll, that looks nice, double click. Scroll, that looks nice, double click. I very rarely read the caption unless it's something that really grabs my attention. And if I look at the caption and it says, see more, whatever, read more, I don't ever do that. I just keep scrolling. So people, very few, somebody's going to be a really, really hardcore fan of yours if they are going to read your entire caption, especially if it's a long one. Just bear in mind, we've all got really short attention spans, and it is no reflection on you that people don't read your captions. Maybe it's just not worth your effort to write a really, really long caption. I don't know about you, but it's a real pain in the bum for me on my mobile to write a long caption because I've got fat fingers. So maybe it's just not worth your time to do that. A short caption, this was our afternoon, whatever, can work just as well. And you're more likely, I think, to get engagement if you only have a short caption and people don't need to make an effort, which is really bad, but it's true. Tip number 7 is mention other people. Posts that mention other people average 37% higher engagement on Instagram. You can do that by not kind of spammy, just pick 3 names at random and tag them in your picture of your cat, but something that was really good. What did I do? There was something I was doing, and somebody had a picture of their cat wearing a hat or something from months ago, but they went to the trouble of going back, finding that picture and tagging me in the comment and saying, Vicky, this is what I mean. And that was just really nice that A, they'd gone to that effort, but B, it was a really funny picture. So things like that can work really well if you have the time to do it. But also you can share, when you share somebody else's post, tag them. This is a repost from so-and-so. They'll usually come over and like it and comment, and, maybe then they'll like your page or follow your page or like your other pictures and kind of get that engagement going. It can be really handy. Tip number 8 is to use your apps like O'Connor Square and Crowdfire to keep an eye on who's unfollowing you, who's following you that you're not following, who doesn't follow you that you're following, all of these things that you can just keep an eye on. Don't get obsessed with them. Bear in mind that O'Connor Square only works if you log in daily, otherwise it just gives you really weirded out stats. You need to be on there daily to get in anything interesting. But especially if you decide you're going to try something new, like I'm only going to post pictures of woolly hats this week, or I'm going to try and post pictures with a slightly different filter, or, whatever you're going to try, keep an eye on O'Connor Square and Crowdfire to see if what you're doing is causing people to unfollow you or getting you more engagement. It can just be interesting. So it's not about changing what you're posting, but keeping an eye on whether what you're posting is having an effect. And my final tip, number 9, don't be afraid to unfollow people. I don't know about you, but I did not join Instagram to see endless pictures of people's flabby middles that have been slightly tightened up or photoshopped after a wrap, or their eyebrows, or their frown lines, or whatever. I'm not interested, and it drives me around the bend. My general rule of thumb is, if you follow me, I'm probably going to follow you back unless I miss the notification. And then if you post a lot of kind of spammy stuff to do with your MLM, I'm going to unfollow you, because I did not join Instagram to see these pictures. Likewise, if somebody is posting, bearing in mind how many people a lot of us follow, I follow about 3,000, 4,000, I think. If I go through my newsfeed and I see 2 pictures from the same person next to each other, I kind of am tempted to unfollow them, just purely because you must be posting really like every 2 minutes for that to happen, and that's quite irritating. If you're posting boring pictures, whatever, then I'm going to unfollow it. Mostly I unfollow people who shamelessly promote their MLM. They spam, or their captions are in another language, so I can't understand, unless it's something that I don't need to see the caption. It's just a gorgeous picture. But if I need a caption to understand what your picture is of, and your caption is not in English, I'm not going to follow you. I'm going to unfollow you, sorry. Don't be afraid to unfollow people. That means that basically you're kind of keeping your feed clear for the people that you do want to interact with. And if you're interacting with them, then they're likely to interact with you. It works both ways. So it's just something to bear in mind. For ages, I never unfollowed anybody because I thought it'd be really, really mean. And then now I've just become really ruthless about it. I'm like, another picture of a belly, you're gone. And it's just handy, I think, to remember that it's okay to unfollow people. The world's not going to end. So those were my 9 tips to help you to increase your Instagram followers if you don't want to be a professional Instagrammer. I do hope you found them interesting. If you have, do please leave a comment, or you could even leave a review on Stitcher Radio for me, or you can find me on Podcast Addict or on Spreaker. I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/Vicky Charles Writer. On Instagram and Twitter, I am at Vicky C. Wright, or you can leave a comment on my blog. The show notes for this and all other shows can be found at vickycharles.com.